Have you ever felt completely drained of energy just after a conversation? No yelling, no threats, just a cold stare, a few vague words, and suddenly you're lost in emotional chaos, second-guessing yourself? That's not random or because you're too sensitive. That's a calculated strategy, and the mastermind behind it is a narcissist. Most folks think narcissists win because they're tough, confident, or just have this magnetic pull. But the harsh truth is deeper. They win by twisting your emotional responses, turning you into their personal power source. Today, on the Stoic Mindful Life channel, where we blend the resilient wisdom of Stoicism with the awake, present vibe of mindfulness, I'm breaking down the 5 most powerful Stoic defenses to stand up to narcissists and shut down their games. These aren't just tips from real-life experience. They're drawn from the minds of legends like Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus, backed by modern psychology research. And remember, sometimes a moment of mindful silence or a simple nod of rational resolve is all it takes to make their power vanish into thin air. Before we dive in, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to Stoic Mindful Life for more deep dives that help you train your mind, build unbreakable resilience, and live more awake and empowered every single day. You won't want to miss the insights that put you back in the driver's seat of your life. First off, let's peel back the layers on what a narcissist really is and why they're so damn dangerous. Narcissists aren't just people who love themselves a little too much. They're emotional parasites, feeding off draining the life out of others. They can't stand on their own without attention, submission, and especially your raw emotional reactions. Picture a leech. It can't survive without latching onto a host to suck blood. Narcissists are the same. They're not truly strong. They're just clever enough to make you their fuel supply. Stoic philosophy nails this. Marcus Aurelius taught us, you can't control what others do, but you can control how you respond. Pair that with mindfulness, and we learn to stay awake and spot these red flags without getting swept away by the drama. Research from the American Psychological Association, APA, shows narcissists have personality disorder rates up to 6 times higher than average, and they use these tactics to keep emotional power over you. The more you explode, with anger, sadness, or begging, the stronger they get. But if you stay calm, present, and stoic tough, they start to wither away from lack of food. That's the key to beating them. Not head-on confrontation, but cutting off their energy source. Now, let's get into the 5 Stoic defenses against their deadliest moves. Defense number 1. Counter gaslighting, psychological manipulation, by anchoring yourself in truth through journaling and rational thinking. Gaslighting isn't just plain old lying. It's the art of warping reality until you doubt your own memory and senses. Think about a real-life scenario. A wife comes home late after a long day, still haunted by last night's fight. Her husband yelled, said some cutting things that kept her up all night. The next morning, when she brings it up, he calmly denies it. I never said that. You're too sensitive, always blowing things out of proportion. Boom, she's reeling. Did I imagine it? Maybe he's right. That's gaslighting in action, a tactic that erodes your trust in yourself, leaving you dependent on their twisted version of events. Harvard research on abuse psychology reveals gaslighting fires up the brain's anxiety centers, spiking cortisol by 30% and leading to mental exhaustion or even depression. But Stoicism offers the perfect shield. Marcus Aurelius wrote in Meditations, "Let your mind be inscribed with truth like words carved in stone." Solid. Unmoved by emotions. To make it practical, blend in mindfulness. Start a daily journal, not to hold grudges, but to lock in the facts. Note the time, words, details, like October 5th, 8 p.m., he called me useless during our money argument. Next time they deny it, pull out your journal. Your own handwriting is rock-solid proof. Kick off your day with 10 minutes of mindfulness meditation. Focus on your breath. Watch those doubting thoughts float by like clouds. Don't grab onto them. The payoff? No more confusion. Truth becomes your unbreakable armor. I've seen a friend use this. After 3 months, she not only escaped a toxic relationship but felt stronger than ever, because Stoic reason put her back in control of her mind. Gaslighting only works if you surrender your reality. Hold on to truth, and they crumble. Defense number 2. Tackle the silent treatment by turning solitude into inner strength through self-reliance and mindful presence. Not every tactic is loud and obvious. Sometimes the deadliest weapon is silence. No texts, no replies, just an invisible wall that leaves you uneasy. This silence isn't peaceful. It's punishment, spinning your mind into worry. What did I do wrong? Are they mad? You start chasing, pleading, and they've won by hijacking your emotions. Imagine a couple in constant conflict. Every time she tries to talk it out, he goes radio silent, leaving her in unbearable emptiness. Over time, she panics, apologizes even when she's innocent, just to break the void. A study in the Journal of Social Psychology shows silent treatment lights up the same brain areas as physical pain, boosting depression risk by 25%. But Stoicism gives us the counterpunch. Seneca said, "Solitude isn't scary. What's scary is when you can't handle your own company." Mix in mindfulness and flip the script. Instead of chasing, use that silence for growth. Read Stoic classics like Marcus Aurelius's Meditations, reflect on your worth, or do a 15-minute mindfulness meditation. Sit still. Tune into the now. Let anxious thoughts pass without reacting. I knew a guy whose partner used silent treatment to manipulate him. He started filling that time with personal hobbies like running and journaling, drawing on Epictetus. Control what you can, your own reactions. In weeks, he wasn't afraid of being alone anymore. Self-reliance became his superpower, and the toxic dynamic fell apart because he stopped playing victim. When you're not scared of being left hanging, their silence loses its grip. It becomes your freedom. Keep this in mind. If someone uses silence as a weapon, you can choose to build a solid inner home instead of banging on their door. Defense number 3. Fight fake admiration by detaching from praise through rational judgment and stoic humility. Narcissists are masters of disguise. They butter you up, shower you with compliments to drop your guard, but it's all bait to exploit you. Picture a business owner getting hyped by a new partner. "You're the greatest leader I've ever met," leading him to sign a deal too fast, only to realize it's stacked against him. That's fake admiration, a lure for control. Yale research on manipulation psychology finds phony praise triggers dopamine rushes, making victims 40% more gullible. But Stoicism hands you the shield. Epictetus taught, if someone praises you, remember it's just their opinion, not your essence. With mindfulness, stay alert to flattery. Do a quick meditation. Ask yourself, does this match their actions? Or is it a setup? Practice stoic humility by treating praise and criticism the same. Neither shakes you. A woman I know got praised by friends to borrow money. She channeled Seneca. Don't rise on praise. Anchor in reason. Politely said no and focused on her inner value with a daily gratitude journal. Result? She dodged the trap and the fake bonds broke. Real respect shows in consistent actions, not sweet talk. Use rational judgment to see through their mask. Defense number 4. Counter love bombing by judging consistency over emotional intensity through mindful restraint. This is the emotional assault. They flood you with compliments, gifts, promises, making you hooked, then yank it away, creating an addiction cycle. Imagine a woman swept into a whirlwind romance. Morning texts, doorstep roses, whispers of, "You're my soulmate." Then, week 3, it all vanishes, leaving her desperate to chase the high. UK Mental Health Association research says love bombing mimics drug addiction, spiking endorphins, then crashing into dependency. But Stoicism fights back. Marcus Aurelius advised, don't get swept by impressions. See things as they are. With mindfulness, practice restraint. Visualize emotional highs as ocean waves in a 10-minute meditation. They come and go, don't cling. Judge by steadiness. Is this consistent over time? A guy I know got love-bombed on dates. He applied Epictetus, kept a mindful distance, and spotted the ploy early. Outcome? He broke the cycle and found real, steady love. True love is patient, not a storm. Use restraint to turn their bait into a lesson. Defense number 5. Defend against projection by not absorbing accusations through detachment and living by your Stoic character. This is the cruelest hit. They dump their flaws on you, calling you selfish while they drain everyone. Imagine an employee accused of disloyalty by a boss who's secretly betraying the company. Projection aims to make you defend yourself, but that's the trap. Stanford research shows emotional reactions to projection amp up stress by 35%. Stoicism counters. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If someone calls you a name, remember it's just sound. It doesn't touch your essence." With mindfulness, detach. View accusations as external noise, don't internalize. Live by character. Focus on your actions with an evening reflection journal. Was I honest today? A woman whose husband projected, "You never listen," while he was the real offender. She drew on Seneca, stayed calm, and let her actions prove her point. Eventually, he exposed himself. When you don't absorb it, projection boomerangs, accusations become their confessions. Wrapping it up, narcissists have endless tricks, but with these 5 Stoic defenses, anchoring in truth, turning solitude into power, detaching from praise, judging by consistency, and rejecting projection, you become untouchable. Stoic mindful life gives us 3 core shields: silence with strength, not surrender, but control; emotional detachment, spot it mindfully without reacting; and reason as your sharpest weapon, grounded in facts, not feelings. Oxford research confirms, applying Stoicism cuts stress by 40% and boosts resilience. You can't stop the world from breeding manipulators, but you can strip their power by withholding your energy. That's real strength, no screaming, no revenge, just calm, unshakable grit. If this hit home, smash that like, subscribe to Stoic Mindful Life, and share it with someone who needs it today. And one last step. Drop untouchable in the comments. Make it your oath, your shield. Start applying this now and you'll taste true freedom. Catch you in the next video. Have you ever walked away from a conversation feeling completely drained? Like your energy just got sucked out of you? No yelling, no threats, just a cold stare, a few vague words, and suddenly you're spiraling into emotional chaos, doubting your own sanity? That's not random, and it's definitely not because you're too sensitive. That's a calculated strategy, and the person behind it is a narcissist. Most folks think narcissists win because they're strong, confident, or magnetically charming. But the harsh truth, they win because they master twisting your emotional reactions, turning you into their personal energy source. Today, on the Stoic Mindful Life podcast, where we blend the unbreakable resilience of Stoic philosophy with the present moment awareness of mindfulness, I'm breaking down the 5 strongest Stoic defenses to counter narcissists and dismantle their tactics. These aren't just tips. They're drawn from real-life experiences, inspired by giants like Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus, and backed by modern psychology research. And remember, sometimes all it takes is a moment of mindful silence or a rational nod to turn their power into nothing. Before we dive in, smash that like button and subscribe to Stoic Mindful Life for more deep dives that help you train your mind, build resilience, and live more awake every day. You won't want to miss the tools that put you back in control of your life. First off, let's expose the true nature of a narcissist so you see why they're so dangerous. Narcissists aren't just self-obsessed people. They're emotional parasites, feeding off others' energy to survive. They can't stand alone without attention, submission, and especially your emotional reactions. Picture a leech. It doesn't live without latching onto a host and draining blood. Narcissists are the same. They're not truly powerful. They're just clever at making you their fuel. Stoic philosophy nails this. Marcus Aurelius taught, "You can't control others' actions, but you can control your own responses." Pair that with mindfulness, and we learn to stay aware of these signs without getting swept away by emotions. Research from the American Psychological Association, APA, shows narcissists have personality disorder rates 6 times higher than average, using manipulation to hold emotional power. The more you explode, anger, sadness, begging, the stronger they get. But if you stay calm, aware, and stoic resilient, they wither without food. That's the key to beating them. Not head-on confrontation, but cutting off their supply. Now, let's break down the 5 Stoic defenses against their deadliest tactics. Defense number 1. Counter gaslighting by anchoring to truth through journaling and reason. Gaslighting isn't just lying. It's the art of warping reality until you doubt your own memory and perception. Think of a real scenario. A wife comes home exhausted from work, still haunted by last night's fight. Her husband yelled harsh words that kept her up all night. The next morning, when she brings it up, he calmly denies, "I never said that. You're too sensitive, always blowing things out of proportion." Instantly, she's confused. Am I imagining it? Maybe he's right. That's gaslighting. Eroding your self-trust so you depend on their version of reality. Harvard research on abuse psychology shows it activates brain areas tied to anxiety, spiking cortisol by 30%, and leading to mental exhaustion or even depression. But Stoicism offers the perfect shield. Marcus Aurelius wrote in Meditations, "Let your mind be inscribed with truth like letters carved in stone, solid, unmoved by emotions. Combine with mindfulness. Start a daily journal, not to harbor grudges but to anchor facts. Note time, words, details, like Oct 5, 8 p.m. He said, 'You're useless' during the money argument. Next time they deny, flip it open and remind yourself with rational evidence. Practice 10-minute morning mindfulness meditation. Focus on your breath. Watch doubtful thoughts like passing clouds without clinging. The result? No more confusion. Truth becomes your unbreakable armor. I saw a friend do this. After 3 months, she escaped a toxic relationship and felt empowered, because Stoic reason gave her back control of her mind. Gaslighting only works if you surrender your reality. Hold fast to truth, and they crumble. Defense number 2. Counter the silent treatment by turning isolation into inner strength through self-reliance and mindfulness. Not all tactics are loud. Sometimes the deadliest weapon is silence. No texts, no replies, just an invisible wall breeding insecurity. This isn't peace. It's punishment, making you spiral. What did I do wrong? Are they mad? You chase, beg, and they win by puppeteering your emotions. Imagine a couple in constant conflict. Whenever she wants to talk it out, he goes radio silent, leaving her in unbearable void. Slowly, she panics, apologizes for nothing just to break it. Journal of Social Psychology research shows silent treatment hits the brain like physical pain, raising depression risk by 25%. But Stoicism arms us. Seneca wrote, "Solitude isn't frightening. What's scary is not enduring your own company." Blend with mindfulness, and turn silence into training ground. Instead of chasing, use it to read Stoic texts like Marcus Aurelius's Meditations, reflect on your worth. Or do mindfulness meditation. Sit still for 15 minutes, focus on the present. Let anxious thoughts flow by without reacting. I know a guy whose partner used silent treatment for control. He turned those moments into personal hobbies like running and journaling. It's applying Epictetus. Control what you can, your response. After weeks, he no longer feared alone time. Self-reliance became power, and the toxic dynamic shattered because he wasn't a victim anymore. When you're unafraid of being left alone, their silence loses all bite. It becomes your freedom. Remember, if someone uses silence to punish, choose building your inner fortress over knocking on their door. Defense number 3. Counter fake admiration by detaching from praise through rational judgment and stoic humility. Narcissists are masters of disguise. They flatter and praise to lower your guard, but it's bait for exploitation. Think of a businessman wooed by a partner. "You're the greatest leader I've ever met," leading to a rushed deal where all terms favor the other side. That's fake admiration, hook to reel you in. Yale research on manipulation shows fake praise triggers dopamine, making victims 40% more gullible. But Stoicism shields you. Epictetus taught, if someone praises you, remember it's just their opinion, not your essence. With mindfulness, stay aware of praise. Short meditation, ask, does this match their actions? Practice Stoic humility by treating praise and criticism equally. Don't let them sway you. A woman I know got buttered up by friends to borrow money. She drew on Seneca. Don't rise on praise, anchor in reason. She politely declined, focusing on inner value via daily gratitude journaling. Outcome? She dodged the trap and fake bonds dissolved. True respect shows in consistent actions, not sweet talk. Use rational judgment to see through the mask. Defense number 4. Counter love bombing by evaluating consistency over intensity through mindful restraint. This is the affection assault. They bombard with compliments, gifts, promises, making you hooked, then yank it away, creating addiction cycles. Imagine a girl swept into love at first sight. Morning texts, roses, whispers of, "You're my soulmate." Then, week 3, it vanishes, leaving her chasing desperately. British Psychiatric Association research likens love bombing to drug addiction, spiking endorphins, then crashing, breeding dependency. Stoicism counters. Marcus Aurelius taught, don't get carried by impressions. See things as they are. With mindfulness, restrain emotions. 10-minute visualization meditation. View emotional highs like ocean waves. Come and go, don't cling. Judge by consistency. Are actions steady over time? A man love-bombed in dating applied Epictetus, kept mindful distance, spotted the ploy early. Result? He broke the cycle, found real, stable love. True love is patient, not a storm. Use restraint to turn bait into wisdom. Defense number 5. Counter projection by not absorbing accusations through detachment and living your stoic character. This brutal tactic. They dump their flaws on you, call you selfish while draining everyone. Imagine an employee accused of disloyalty by a boss secretly betraying the company. Projection aims to make you defend, but it's a trap. Stanford research shows emotional reactions to projection hike stress 35%. Stoicism teaches. Marcus Aurelius wrote, if someone labels you, remember it's just sound, not touching your essence. With mindfulness, detach. View accusations as external noise, not internal truth. Live your character. Focus on your actions via evening reflection journal. Was I honest today? A woman projected as not listening, while her husband was the culprit, applied Seneca. Stayed calm, let actions prove her. Eventually, he exposed himself. When you don't absorb, projection boomerangs. Accusations become confessions. In closing, narcissists have endless tricks, but these 5 Stoic defenses, anchoring truth, turning isolation to strength, detaching from flattery, judging consistency, and not absorbing projections, make you invincible. Stoic mindful life boils it to 3 core shields. Silence with power, control, not surrender, emotional detachment, aware recognition without reaction, and reason as your sharpest blade, truth over feelings. Oxford research confirms, practicing Stoicism cuts stress 40%, boosts resilience. You can't stop the world from spawning manipulators, but you can strip their power by not feeding them energy. That's real strength, not yelling or revenge, but calm, unshakable re.